In Mel Kiper's latest mock draft, he has Cam Ward going first in the draft. Do you think this would be a good choice for Tennessee?
Absolutely do. Look, he is uniquely qualified to be the face of the franchise. If you understand Cam Ward's story from Incarnate Ward to Washington State to Miami, and what he has built himself into, what the people who have coached him tell you about his leadership, his work ethic, how he raises the level of everyone around them because of the pressure he puts on them, and the things he asks them to do that he himself does as well. This guy is exactly what you're looking for in a number one overall pick at the quarterback spot. And we haven't even got to the things that he's done on the football field and how efficient and how effective he can be and how efficient and effective he will be once he gets to the NFL and irons out some of the things that he needs to. I think he can have the same kind of impact that some of the other higher drafted quarterbacks that I've talked about over the past 2 years have had. He's not the same athlete as Jaden Daniels, but he's that same kind of leader, that same kind of person who will take the responsibility that is associated with being a franchise caliber quarterback.
All right. Speaking of that mock draft, as we mentioned, Cam going 1 to the Titans, according to Mel, with Shedeur Sanders falling to the Giants at 3. He's got Shedeur's former teammate, Travis Hunter, going to the Patriots at 4. Louis, coming back to you on this. Obviously, I know they're both special talents.
Yep.
That's why we're talking about top of the draft. But who do you think has more upside? Is it Shedeur or Travis Hunter?
I think it's Travis because Travis is a one-of-one generational elite type of athlete as far as movement patterns, body control, quickness, leaping ability, coordination, speed, hand-eye coordination. He has the entire package. Just listen to how Deion talks about him himself. Look, this is the closest thing to Deion that I think Deion has seen since he stopped playing football. A guy who could play just about any position, any skill position that you would ask him to play on the football field, can go onto a basketball court and just wow you with his coordination, dunking ability, jumping ability, shooting ability, defending ability. He has all of it. And he has the mindset to go along with it that will allow him, Molly, quite honestly, to realize whatever potential he has out of his body. He will wring everything out of his body that God has given him that he could possibly wring out of it. And that's why I think, look, when you're talking about what position he should play, that's why I believe he should start off playing corner. He will be a Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber corner in short order, in very short order, because it is a very athletic-intensive position that you just have to have certain physical measurables in order to play it at a high level, and he has all of those. Wide receiver, a little bit more team-dependent, quarterback-dependent, scheme-dependent, a lot of that. So his ascension on that side of the football where he has the physical skill to do it, he has a lot of other things that have to break his way in order for him to really ascend to the heights that you think he can ascend to. But as far as like what he has, what he was born with, he has been blessed in a way that not many people are. He just is. And he has the right mindset in order to take advantage of it. Look, Shedeur is going to be a winning starting quarterback that will have his team in playoff contention if you support him properly. But Travis is different. And you're going to see that here very soon once he gets to the league.
Real quick, before the guys jump in, if you were the Giants, which would you go with?
Well, look, if I had the conviction of the quarterback, well, look, I personally, I would want to draft Shedeur because I think they need to lock down that position. I have that conviction in Shedeur. Maybe they don't. There are a lot of people who don't. I do. I've been out there. I've seen him play. I've talked to his father. I've watched him. I've studied his tape. There's nothing that alarms me about him, and I know how important quarterback is. Would I blame them for passing on him and feeling as though they could fill that need somewhere down the line if they feel they're going to be there past this year, meaning that regime, and take Travis? No, I wouldn't blame them because Travis is one of one, like I just talked about. But I would not have any reservations drafting Shedeur Sanders at all if I'm the Giants. None.
Mr. Chippendales, you're wrong. You're wrong on this one. Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal, Mr. Chippendales. When we use the operative word here is upside. When we look at Travis Hunter, everything you said about him is well known. It's well documented. Nobody's refuting what you're saying. So whatever we expect from him is what you alluded to. It's an expectation. It's there. When you talk about a high upside, I look at it this way. We've got elite corners in the NFL. Do they equate to elite quarterbacks? Chances are no. You think the top two things that you think about a need, you need an edge rusher, you need somebody to get to the quarterback, and you need somebody to quarterback. Those are the top two things we talk about. I expect Travis Hunter to start. I expect him to be elite. I expect him to be a spectacular cornerback in the National Football League who gets some time at wide receiver. But that doesn't compare to what if Shedeur Sanders ends up being every bit the quarterback we anticipate he's going to be, and what that's going to mean for a particular franchise. So the answer to this question is basically by default. It's not to demise or diminish or throw any shade on Travis Hunter whatsoever. I believe he's going to be everything that you say that he's going to be. Most people believe that as well. There's question marks about Shedeur Sanders. And as a result of those question marks, when he goes out on the field and he shows that quote-unquote upside, when he shows what he's capable of, when he shows why you had a couple of teams, according to Todd McShay, about how you had a couple of teams saying that he didn't particularly come across as somebody who cared what we thought of him. And then you heard Josina Anderson coming out with reports about arrogance and brashness and all of this stuff, which me, you, and others have decried. It's all nonsense. They're just trying to take shots at primetime Deion Sanders. My point is, maybe Shedeur Sanders walked into the quarterback room, and instead of being somebody acting like he would be lucky to be a part of your team, he was acting like somebody who feels you should be lucky to have him. And if his game replicates that kind of mentality, then indeed the answer to this question would be him. And I believe his game is going to indicate and replicate that kind of mentality.
You're giving his upside a boost by nature of the position that he plays, because of the importance of the position that he plays.
And what they're speculating about him, and in your case, compared to Cam Ward.
Yeah. Look. This is not. See, the thing that's difficult for me to answer these kind of questions is because a lot of times when you answer them, people are automatically assuming that, well, since you said that Travis has the higher upside, that means you hate Shedeur. Now that doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. So I guess and you know how we sometimes people box us into those kind of positions all the time. And
they try to do that. There's the idiots and the trolls. Yeah. People who are actually listening to us get the sensibilities that we bring to the subject.
I think what I'm saying though is when I'm talking about upside, look, I think Travis Hunter, there are things that Travis Hunter does as an athlete, as a corner, as a wide receiver, that there are very, very, very few people on the face of this earth can do. There are certain things as far as his hand-eye coordination, his body coordination, his ability to adjust to the football, his ability to rise to the occasion in moments where you sit there and you go all the time, I'm looking for someone who in the biggest moments is going to make the biggest type of plays. But you know there's only a few people who have that in them. That's what Travis is. I mean, that's just who he is by nature. And he's been that way his whole life if you listen to the people who have been around him his entire life and who know his journey and what he has accomplished at every single step. That's why I'm saying for him, he could be one of those guys that when his career is done, they talk about him the same way that they talk about Deion Sanders. Which for Deion, it is, look, I don't care if you're comparing Deion to a quarterback, you're comparing him to a baseball player, you're comparing him to whoever you want to compare him to. He's one of the greatest competitors, regardless of sport, that have ever walked the face of the earth. That's just a fact. I've seen it in person. I've seen it. I've been right next to it to where you literally sit there in awe and you go, damn, is this guy human? Like, how can he do this? How can he constantly summon everything that is who he is to make the plays over and over and over again? That's the feeling I get watching Travis Hunter. And that's not to take anything away from Shedeur Sanders. He is going to be a winning quarterback. He's going to be a playoff caliber quarterback. And if you surround him with the right kind of people, I think he will be a Super Bowl caliber quarterback with the right kind of support.
Okay.
But one-on-one, Travis is just that dude. And I think Deion hasn't used those words, but he's described him as such. He has said, his words, he is him. And I understand exactly what he means when he says that.
Yeah, bottom line is, though, he might be that kind of player, and if you don't have the quarterback, you still can go 1-16.
Right.
I'm with Stevie on this, Louis, and I think you're probably right. Hunter, from a football player perspective, will turn out to be better than Sanders will, but the position, you can't trade off the position.
Yeah.
They can't win without quarterback.
I'm looking at this strictly from a
player, ability,
person
talent.
versus person, standpoint. I understand what you're saying. Look, the position that Shedeur plays.
And I think the Giants will probably, I didn't think so for a while because they went after Stafford, who's not a short-term scenario. I think they will draft Sanders. I think the Giants.
The Giants?
Yeah, I think they will.
I think interesting.
I do. I think the Giants will take over at the third pick.
That would be a change for that ownership group.
I think they will.
It sure will.
I think they will.
I'll tell you what. This will be fun to watch, and I'll be on there on the desk for night one. And I'm going to be down there in Miami, to see to see Cam Ward on Monday.
That's so
And
interesting.
To see
You're
all
able to
these
make it
different
down to
dudes.
Miami.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know, Stephen A. says you got to go to Miami. I'm going to Miami.
Yeah, he'll be
You
in
know?
LA.
He'll be in LA then. Yeah. Oh,
Actually,
He's not even gonna be in
Actually, I
Miami?
won't. Molly has no clue about my schedule. America
Okay,
do not
well,
listen
then you're
to
wrong,
her.
Molly.
Oh, yeah.
I tell her last. I tell Molly last, just to
We
inconvenience
find out
on
like
purpose.
the day before.
We find out later.
Yeah. We don't
Listen,
even know where he's going to be tomorrow.
You know, I think the Giants, they're in a tricky spot.
You know what? I don't know if they're going to take him. I really don't. I don't
But
believe
why
that
would
they
you
will.
go after Jameis Winston and Flacco and guys like that? It sounds like they brought him into the building to talk.
That's 'cause they gotta have
the
somebody.
quarterback at the third pick.
I don't know, because you know what? Look, if you wanted to be real, like,
They need a stopgap.
if you want to be
QB.
real skeptical about this, I mean, hey, if you don't draft a quarterback and you take best player available in their mind, which I think a lot of people would say, look, if we were just comparing the two players,
Oh, yeah, Hunter's
Travis
better.
versus Shedeur,
You
we're going to
take
take
Hunter.
Travis.
Did they
If
bring
you
in a
take him-
vet and
Well, I think that's what they're going to do.
Well,
I
what-
think they're going to bring
and
in
who?
Maybe.
Winston.
What vet?
Jameis Winston.
Or
Flacco.
how about you do this?
They might do that. They've talked to both of them.
Okay, well, I think somebody like put forth this idea earlier. It might have been Greeny. How about if you draft Travis, and then you use your second round pick, and try and move back up into the first?
I think-
And then you draft. I don't know. Well, I don't know if Jackson Dart would still be there.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Or
If-
do you draft somebody like a Tyler Shuck again? Again, that's the way you can kind of get
You can
everything
do
that
that.
you're looking for.
But
maybe
again-
that's what they
All right,
do.
let's not play around
But you
with
only
the
can do
quarterback
that if you
position.
think the quarterback-
We got to hit, all right?
got to hit, okay.
So if they don't think he's the guy, don't take him then. But
I agree.
let's not play around and gamble.
So you
again.
don't like Tyler? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying,
No,
like
that's what
we
you just
we
said.
just went through the Daniel Jones experiment. I want a sure thing.
Tyler Shuck's better than Daniel Jones.
You know my motto
Tyler
in
Shuck's
life,
better than Daniel Jones,
Louis.
though.
If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Okay, so that's why I want the Giants to feel. I apply that to other areas
Stephen A,
of my
how you-
life, and I
Yes,
want
you
the
do.
Giants to apply
Yes,
it
you
to
do.
quarterback.
If it's not a hell
Yes, you
yes,
do.
If it's not a hell yes, it's a hard pass.
So
Okay?
it's like one or the other.
That is
Yeah,
Molly.
exactly.
That's the most accurate thing she's ever said about herself. That's
Hell
absolutely
yeah
true.
or nah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Hell
All
yeah
right.
or no.
Nah.